Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome. Today's class is going to be a holiday 3D blender. We're going to be using Blender to animate a snow scene. So very glad that you're here with me today. And it's going to be a car animated through a snow scene, like a little village kind of thing. So kind of holiday, Christmassy, and everything, and a wintry. And very glad that you're here with me today. If you haven't been in one of my previous classes, very glad that you're here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Alex Cooper. I teach the computer classes for the Columbia County Library in Evans, Georgia, the Harlem Library, Ucha Creek, now our Grovetown Library with our new Grovetown building and everything. Yay. And before we get started, let me go ahead and start off with definitely feel free to post any questions that you have in the chat or anything. And the big question I always start off with is, how can I help? Okay. So what questions do you have? Have you tried to use Blender before? Have you wanted to learn a little bit? So this is actually kind of a connection with our other class that we have. We did a 3D snowman, and it's also kind of the third holiday Christmassy kind of wintry classes we had, where we also did a use Python to make snowflakes as well. So very glad that you're here. And let me talk about some of our previous classes for the month of December. Can you believe it's December? Yes, it is. And believe it or not, this is actually our last class of the month. And that means the last class of 2020. Woo! So we made it. So our next class will actually be in 2021. So come join me for those classes too. A new schedule will be posted on the library's page. We'll have lots of great stuff coming out. And of course, this month we did a whole bunch. We did some Raspberry Pi classes. We did Google School still up and available. And of course, the How to Build a Snowman, we did that one earlier today. If you want to kind of coincide with that one with this class, is probably what I recommended. So that's kind of like a beginner Blender class, creating something. And of course, this class is more focused on animating, okay? Animating car driving around. We also did a cord cutting class today, on the 10th. And the big thing about that is talking about all the services that are new. And of course, some of them are increasing their price, and also some new stuff out there too. We also did a holiday gadget and gift ideas class, and also internet shopping and digital couponing as well. So we had only 3 weeks in December before we get ready for the holidays and everything. So all those classes are still up and available. So definitely recommend seeing those. And a little bit of side note, if you're looking for some free ebooks or for free digital audiobooks or anything, all you need is your library card. The big thing is go ahead and download Libby. We're not using the RB Digital for our ebooks and audiobooks anymore. It'll ask you what library you're with. Just say Greater Clarksville Regional Library System. Click Georgia Download Destination, and then enter your library card. Okay? And then you should be up and ready to go. Our libraries are open with limited services and hours. I saw today that some of our libraries are expanding their hours, so definitely check out our website for more information on that. Curbside holds pickup is available. You can go to gchrl.org for details, or call in the library with questions Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right now we're having a subscribe drive, so if we can get 100 subscribers to our YouTube channels, we can get our own customized YouTube address. Or just search YouTube for GCHRL videos and our channel will pull right up. All right, so let's go ahead and let's flip back here, and I'll come back to. So very glad that you're here with me today. So I'm going to kind of pretend that this is a little bit of the first time using Blender. I do recommend you looking at our Build a 3D Snowman class, and all I'm going to be doing is using our tutorials that are set up in from the Raspberry Pi website, and I'm actually going to go ahead and post that on there. So the big thing, of course, is we need to download the software to begin with. So you need to head on over to blender.org to be able to download. It is completely free software. It's used in many a small digital movie, I guess you'd say, creation. They'll actually start listing some of the things that it's been used in. And yesterday I was actually watching something that it was a big studio and they had challenged each other to actually use Blender, and they pretty much were like, "Well, it's great. They did all everything in the project that they wanted to with Blender." So there you go, right there. It's a free program. It also has some 2D editing, which we won't go into today, of course. But I also mostly want to show you where to download, and also it talks about what are some of the things that it can do. It's rendering engine. It can do some modeling, and it actually can do a little bit of video editing as well. So maybe those are classes we'll actually be doing in the future. So, of course, animation is its specialty. 3D objects and stuff, and of course make your own. And if you scroll all the way down here, it'll talk about training and tutorials. Click read more, and then if you go down to the bottom here, if you remember to do one thing, there we go, go down to the bottom there, it actually has a great one about complete beginner tutorial, but you really should do this one first, where it says getting started Blender fundamentals. Okay, it's like a YouTube series that they've created, so this is the best one to start with, and then go into maybe this one about making little animations with so to go how to go beyond this class, there you go right there. So in our other class we talked about creating our 3D snowman and stuff. So here's our 3D snowman that we were able to create in the previous class. And then we actually gave the snowman color as well. So there he is. He's all decked out with his hat and everything. So there's our 3D snowman, and then it bleeds into our animate a snow scene. So this is actually our tutorial for today. So I'm going to go ahead and post that, so you can follow along with that in the chat as well. And definitely feel free to share these as well. And this is one I'm going to be learning along with you. So I'm going to do the tutorial with you. We're going to read everything, of course. And I think we'll actually have a little bit of extra time. So we'll see what else we can do. I've heard that there's a secret inside the scene, and they actually do a little bit of a challenge for you to do a little bit of extra here. But let's go ahead and let's get started. And of course, if you have any questions at any time, just post it in the chat and I'm happy to answer it. Okay. All right, so here we go. Animated snow scene, introduction. Learn how to animate a car driving through a snow scene using Blender. Here's how the finished piece of work should look, so we can play it. And there you go. You can see the car driving by. And you can see the frames. It's talking about the frames. And we can actually move around a little bit. And I won't show it yet, but there might be a secret behind the barn, as you say. Okay. Maybe there's a little secret thing back there we can animate too. So let's talk about what we're going to learn. We're going to learn about the projects cover. This project covers elements from the following strands of the Raspberry Pi Digital making curriculum. So as we go down here, let's talk about what we'll need. Well, the big one here is that you'll need, of course, a desktop computer running the Blender software and making sure it's the newer version of Blender. Now down here is some educational stuff. So if you wanted to actually do this in a class or something, it has a printer-friendly version of it. And it also has a tutorial here talking about some other concepts and stuff that are accessible. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about our where is the camera. So first, where is the camera? Now we need to go ahead and open up Blender, and we need to download and use this. I think I still have it open from our previous. Yes, I do. Still have it open from our previous project that we did this morning, which there's our snowman with our camera and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I'm going to click here and download the software, or excuse me, the file is what we're going to be doing. Do I have to click the download? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to download it. download the file, and then open it. And it'll automatically open up in Blender for us. All right, it's loading it. All right, so welcome to Blender. And I'll kind of cover a few of the things here that I did talk about, of course, in the snowman, making the snowman as well. So when we first start off, and that is probably a good idea. So I'll do a blank slate here to begin with. So basically the first, if you click a new project, you'll basically get a cube here. And let's talk about our main functions. Believe it or not, this is our camera that's hanging out here. And if you see this very small little circle up here on the top right, that actually is our light, okay? But we first start off with a nice little cube, okay? And how do we get around? How do we look around? Well, how do we look around? Some programs like Word or whatever, you'd actually click you know, a button to bold something, or you would click that and then you would make other clicks. Well, this one we actually hover over. Let's say we want to get around. We hover and look around. We actually hover here, left click, hold, and then move our mouse, and then that allows us to move around, okay, and see everything. We also have the choice of clicking on Z, which will be above, x-axis, other side, and then y-axis as well, and then left click here and bring us back to basically where we were. We also have our zoom in and zoom out. All you do is you left click, hold on the zoom, and move your mouse up and down, and it'll zoom in and zoom out. Okay. The hand, left click, hold on the hand, move your mouse around, and that just kind of moves. It mostly moves us around, I guess you'd say, or our view. And an important thing is, what does the camera actually see? Well, let's click the camera view and we can actually see what the camera actually sees from its vantage. Okay, so when we render something, what will the camera actually see? It won't see our view, it'll see what the camera's view is. Okay, now let's talk about our shading here. We'll look at our village in just a second, but we can kind of have a wireframe set up. We can actually have it where it's just barely shaded here. Mostly you'll see like gray, and then if you click the next one, you'll see that it actually has it so it does have a color to it. And if we went and changed our color settings, we could change it and see it in our preview here as well. So the other things we'll talk about, the resizing things, moving things around, and we'll kind of get more into that. We got more into that in the snowman, but let's go ahead back to our tutorial. Okay. So we need to go ahead and switch over to, let me see, where's my thing here? Of course, loading and saving and everything is right there as well. Oh, hang on. Oh, you can use the all right, so you go ahead and open. There it is. All right, so it's loading. There we go. So here we are in our scene that we just loaded up, and of course we can do the same thing. We can zoom around like this to view. Okay, there's our camera. This will be our light source. We don't have any animation yet, but of course to move around we do here, to zoom in and zoom out as well, and this is our camera view. Okay, all right, so let's go back to our tutorial. You'll animate the car to the following this route. Okay, the first thing you should do when animating is check where the camera is. Go to render view, press F12 to see what the scene looks like. Okay, so F12, or we can actually go up here to render and say render image. I have to drag it over when it loads. So here's our actual view that our camera has. You'll see that it has a border on it. Okay, and that is this is where if you did render something and you want to save the picture, go up here to image, click save as, and then it'll actually come up and show you that you can save it as a PNG, a JPG picture, or a bunch of the other formats as well. Okay. All right, so the camera angle is not quite right, as you can only see the tip of the snowman's head at the bottom of the screen and not the whole snowman. Press escape to get out of the render view. Click on the camera to select it. Rotate your view a little bit until you can see both the camera and the scene. Okay, so we kind of did that. So if we see our camera view, which is right here, yep, we can't see the snowman. What can we do about it? Well, let's select. Now, how do we select something? We just left click it. There we go. Or you can choose it from up here as well, okay, from the list of things. So how do you select things back and forth? That's one way of doing it, or just left clicking here, okay? When it highlights like that, that means it's selected. Now let's go to where it says move, okay? And if we go to our camera view, we can see it needs to point down a little more. So how do we move up and down? Well, the z-axis is the blue, and it means it'll move it straight up and down. Go back to our view, drag it down, keep going, keep going. So the snowman's starting to get in view. Let's see if we can get it perfect. All right, that looks great. That looks great right there. Okay. And that also means that when we render, that will be the view of our camera. Okay. All right, so rotate your view a little bit until you can see both the camera and the scene. We highlighted the camera there. Select the move tool and move the camera down using the blue handle. Go to the render view by pressing F12 again, or as you saw, I click the render. And then check whether now you can see the snowman. If not, exit the render view and lower the camera a little bit more. If the camera is too low, pull it up a little bit instead. Continue rendering and checking until you have everything in view. If the scene is too dark, select the lamp and increase the power value. I think it is too dark, so I think that actually is a good idea. So let's go ahead and do that. So when we see it here, it's pretty well lit up, isn't it? And it's not showing, where is... All right, so let's click where the lamp is. There it is, lamp. So when we do our render, it is dark. So we've chosen the lamp, and then we go over here to our power, and let's increase it. Let's try 200. That might be too much. We'll see. 200,000. It doesn't have to be exact. All right, and then let's do render. All right, that's better. It's still really dark. So let's go higher. What about 300? All right, let's try that. Yeah, this looks a little better, but let's go a little bit higher. What about 4? All right. And then render. Starting to get a little bit better. All right, let's do 5. And then render. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I think that's looking a lot better. There we go. All right, now, yeah, that's about the way they have it, I think. All right, so let's keep going. Let's click keyframing. All right, so The big thing is, I actually remember I don't know if you've been in any other classes, they probably have talked about keyframes. But I remember that having to do just hand drawn animation like with Flash or something. We talked about keyframes a lot and programming, so we're kind of get into that with that. So let's go ahead and let's read. Keyframing. Let's animate your car. For a stop frame animation, also known as stop motion animation, you have to create all the frames by yourself. This is a lot of work, which is why we are going to use keyframing. Okay. For example, frame animation, the animator creates images for particular points in the animation and asks the computer to work out all the other images in between. For example, if your car starts at its current position and 4 seconds later it should be next to the snowman, the computer will work out a way of driving the car from the start position to the snowman. You don't have to create all the frames by yourself. I'm sure we need to give it limits though. At the bottom of the Blender window, there's a timeline with a blue box. Okay, well, let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, so this is our timeline going on down here at the bottom. There's where we are. Okay, let's talk about our keys. At the moment, it is set to 250 frames, which means 250 images will be output by the computer for the animation. There are 24 frames in 1 second, so 250 images will give you slightly more than 10 seconds of animation for this project. You only want just over 4 seconds worth of animation, so let's set the end frame to 100. Locate the box for the end frame at the bottom of the screen. Set the end frame by typing 100 in the box, okay? So our end, there's our end frame, and we'll change it to 100. Okay, and hit enter. So there's a start, and there's our end. All right, let's keep going. Keyframe the first frame. The car is at its starting position in frame 1, and it should be next to the snowman in frame 90. Okay, so it's there, and at the near the snowman at 90. Okay, let's set frame 1 as the first keyframe. This is like telling the computer at frame 1, remember that you are here. Make sure that you are on frame 1 by checking the frame number above the timeline. Okay, so I'll make sure. All right, it says 1. Okay, and it says 1 right there, current frame. There you go. All right. All right, make sure that the car is selected. Click on it to select it. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit here. There we go. So select our car. There we go. When you see the outline, you'll know that it's been selected. All right, car selected. Click keyring drop down, okay, menu above the timeline, and set the active keyring to, I'm sure that's like location something scale, rot scale, okay, to record the location, rotation, there you go, and scale the car. So that would be everything. So this is your axes right here. I guess this would be which way it's facing, and then of course the size of the car as well. Scaling the car in the set frame. Okay, so we want to do keyring LOS. Okay, keyring, so keying LRS. Let's see. So we got the car selected. Keying. Change keyframe. Hang on. Is it? Hang on. I've already. There we go. No, I guess it's the wrong place. Okay, hold on. So I click king, click there, and then we should see it. Okay. All right, king. Oh, okay. Well, I guess they've decided to actually give the full name instead of that quick name. So king, location, rotation, and scale. Okay. The computer will work out where the car is now, which way it's facing, how it is rotated, and how big it is. Click on the small key with the plus on the right side of the active key ring set. Active keying, excuse me. Yeah, it is. It says key ring, and that says keying set. Okay. Active key ring or ing set icon to create a keyframe. Okay. You can see the keyframe presented by a yellow diamond on the timeline. Okay, so it's that one right there. All right, so we put it in, and then we have location, rotation, and we hit right there. So insert keyframe. Insert keyframes on the current frame for all properties in the specified keying set. There we go. And I do see the little diamond right there. All right, now move the blue box on the timeline to 90. Okay. Move the car next to the snowman. Oh, hang on, let's do it step by step. Move the blue box on the timeline to 90. All right, so we're going to drag to our timeline to 90. Okay, and we should see that it says 90 right there. Move the car next to the snowman using the move tool and blue and green red handles. Okay. All right, so next to the snowman. All right, so I got the move tool, I got it selected. And if I just, no, hang on. Hold on. Okay, so I'm still on 90. I'm on 90. And let's see. So I use red to move him that way. Green. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth here. Whoop. I'm going to do undo on that. Edit, undo. And then, let's see. How close is he supposed to be? Okay, good. I was worried it was going to make it look like he's running into him, but hopefully not. He's just supposed to be right there, I think. Okay. Don't run into the snowman. Okay, so we moved the car. Blue, green handles and everything. Now the car is next to the snowman at frame 90. Click the small key plus icon again. A yellow diamond should appear on the timeline on 90. Okay. All right, so we're going to click king, and we're going to click plus, and then boom, a diamond should appear. Okay. It says successfully added 9 keyframes. Okay, it disappeared. I can't read anymore. The computer will work out all the steps of the animation in between frame 1 and frame 90. Move the blue box on the timeline to 0 and click the play button. Okay? The car will move from its starting position to the next snowman, next to the snowman. However, there is a bit of an issue. The car drives directly into the trees rather than going around them. Oh no! All right, so let's grab the blue. Whoop, there we go. So we have animation going on already. All right, we'll go back to 0, and then we're going to click the play button right here. There you go. Oh we have animation. Okay, now if we go to render, I don't think we'll go to that yet because it hasn't told us to do that yet. Okay, so we're going to have to get it so our car doesn't run through the trees. All right, fine-tune the animation. It would be much better if the car drove between the trees and then towards the snowman at about frame 40, okay, approximately 2 seconds of the animation. The car needs to be between the trees, okay. Click pause button on the controls to stop the animation. If not, I can, drag it to 40, okay. So let's go ahead and drag the blue to 40. Make sure that we're on 40. If you do need to fine tune anything, that's the best way to do it is here, okay. All right, move the car to a good position between the trees, okay. Then click, are you catching this here? So already, click the key plus icon again to create another keyframe. Now there should be 3 yellow diamonds on the timeline. Click the play button, okay. All right, so let's do that and we'll come back and read. All right, so we're on 40 and let's move our car out of the way. All right, so our car is now out of the way, and let's click keying and then hit create insert keyframe. All right, now we click the play button. The car now drives around the trees towards the snowman. However, you may have noticed the angle of the car, its rotation, makes the car look like it's sliding rather than driving. You can fix this by also rotating the car in frame 40. Okay, so let's go ahead and view it. Let's rewind and let's hit play. So he's driving. Yeah, he does look like he's sliding around, doesn't he? Doesn't really like he's turning. Needs a special effect, I think. All right, so let's stop it. And all right, the car now drives around the okay, we just read that. Select frame 40 on the timeline and remove the keyframe you just made by clicking the key with X beside it, okay? All right, so we're going to do some fine tuning. Okay, so make sure we're on 40. All right, and then I do key, and I do the minus sign instead, the X here. Delete keyframe on the current frame for all properties in the specific keying set. So then the diamond disappears. All right, now, see, select the rotation tool. Rotate the car so it is pointed in the direction of the snowman. Okay, we're going to follow this, but I have a feeling that maybe, because it's like this, this part looks like the sliding. Okay, so we're going to do this anyway. So rotate the car so that it is pointing in the direction of the snowman. Okay. Add the key plus frame icon to re-add the keyframe. Click play to see what it looks like. It probably looks like the car is driving on ice. Quite funny, but good enough for now. Try to improve your animation. Okay. All right, so we're going to do its challenge here. Okay, so if I go to our rotate, and I'm actually going to move my camera around to make sure I'm actually am at. Uh-oh, there might be something behind the barn. or the house or whatever. Okay, so let's turn it towards Mr. Snowman. Okay, now let's do key and then add. All right, now let's rewind and try now. Let's see what that looks like. It does kind of slide around, doesn't it? So if it goes that way, let's see. So how can we make this better? Try to zoom in here. So the car slides that way. Maybe we need to rotate the car to the position it's going to be. Let's see. I'm gonna do the Z here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so hang on. I want to see the Z, but I want to turn it. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to get our car to be, because it starts off, let me pause it. All right, so it starts off not being completely straight here. So we need to go ahead and originally rotate the car so it already is facing that direction. All right, now let's try. Oh, we did not save it as a keyframe, did we? All right, so let's go here. Let's rotate. Okay, and then we'll go in and save it, keyframe. And now let's see. Oh, so we have to delete the old keyframe. Whoop. From 0. All right, there's our car. And now we have to set a keyframe. Wish it would stop doing that because it like moves around. So I do add. Now if we hit play, there you go. Okay, that's better. Let's see. Does it look like it's driving straight? Still looks like it's kind of curvy there, isn't it? Okay, so how about this? Whoop. So how does it start? It's just not going straight, is it? Okay, so we need to go to 40. Okay. So we have that, and it still looks like it's curving. It's like it curves that way, doesn't it? Oh, okay. So let me think here. So I guess it may go into a little more detail about something like that. I actually, because it is slippery on the slopes here, so it kind of is sloshing around. See? So if you make it more of a direct, so you'd stop here, you'd make it do like a rotation at the same time. So you could create something. Let's see. So you're driving straight, and then you turn a little bit, and then it drives straight here, turn a little, drive straight, all the way there. Okay. All right. So we just kind of have it sliding around on the snow a little bit right now. But there's our animation right there. So it does curve a little bit. Okay. All right. So let me pause or stop it. All right, so we talked about that. So we've actually learned how to delete our keyframes, how to add new keyframes, okay? And we have our car driving through the snow, okay? Now, let's go ahead and let's look at our secret. And our secret is that there is a rocket behind the shed area, okay? Oh man, you could do a funny thing where the snowman jumps out of the way or something. Anyway, there is a rocket hidden behind the hut, okay? Or, it looks like a barn to me, but okay. Can you get it to launch, fly across the scene, and squash the snowman? And then it has another scene that we can play around with too. So let's go ahead and let's do that. All right, so our keyframe here. It's going back to 1. And yep, there's our surprise. It's hiding behind the barn or hut, as it said. So let's see if we can animate it. So it'll go up. It'll go up, rotate, and then hit the snowman. And maybe we can even get the snowman to kind of like do a bounce or something. Okay. All right, so let's get on our rocket here. And I think because we do have it as a halfway point, it probably is a good idea to set, at 40. And then we'll kind of play, well, set at 40. It's something to kind of be up here because that's kind of our halfway mark. So first we need to do, hit key. It's still got the location rotation going on here. So let's do add. Okay. And we have our diamond on there. So now let's go all the way down to 40. And let's move our rocket. Let's see if I can get a good angle here. There we go. Okay. So I'll move our rocket up and about halfway through our snowman. So let's get it and let's move it. We're on 40. And we'll go up with the blue. And we'll get it to, how high should it go? And then rotate that way. And then we'll go back to move, grab the red. So about our halfway mark here. And let's look and see. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. We might have to move it around a bit to get it to hit him just right. Just bonk him on the head. All right, so there we are. Now, let's set that as a keyframe. Okay. Now, let's go to 90. And then let's move our keyframe. Well, maybe we should do 80 because then the car is kind of driving by. How about 80? Okay. So then let's move him. And got to get him to, I have to move him a little bit this way. And then that way. And we need to, let's see. Okay, well, let's see what our animation looks like already. I think that's a good idea before I mess with that. Okay, so, whoop. Hold on. There we go. Let's go ahead and see what that animation looks like. Hey, that's not too bad. Let's see. Okay. It kind of goes through the barn, doesn't it? It sure does. Maybe I should have made it higher, is what I should have done. But it does do a perfect rotation, doesn't it? Perfect. Okay, so we're going to make the rocket higher. Now remember, we have to go back. Make sure you're on 40. And we're going to grab him. We're going to delete that keyframe. And then we're going to make him go higher. All right, and then create a keyframe. All right, and now let's see. Let's see. Let me see if I can see it with the camera, though. Now you just kind of see this rocket go up. That's okay, I guess. Now, if I added another keyframe earlier, then we could stop it going through the barn. But I think that's okay right now. We can mess with that in just a minute. Okay, so let's go back to our other view. And now we want our rocket to get our snowman. So let's go to 80. And we need to move our rocket. And then we need to rotate our rocket. And let's see if we've got it lined up properly. It's a little off. But we can take it and move it to the right a little bit. And let's see. Get it to come down. And bonk our snowman. So he gets our snowman right about there. Okay, so let's make, and then I think I'm going to do like a reaction here of the snowman, like, you know, squishing, being squished or something. Okay, so let's do our keyframe. All right, and let's watch it. That's pretty great. Let's see. It feels like it needs sound effects, doesn't it? Let's see our camera view here. All right, let's get that stop. Let's look at our render. All right, hold on. Oh, it's rendering. Hold on, I gotta wait till it finishes rendering. This is the classic thing of you create something and then it takes a long time for it to render. We do have it set to going up to 100. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit here. And we can do our image, save as, and let's see here. Can't save it as a GIF. Let's see. Different view. Let's see. Results. Do I have to play here? Oh, shoot. Hang on. Image. Save image. Let's see. Results. Huh. Well, that's the image. How do I save it as an animation? Okay, I have to figure that one out. Let me see. Save as render. Okay, I have to figure that one out because right now it's only showing a picture of it. All right, so let's go back to our animation here. So once the rocket hits the snowman, my idea is he'll kind of go squoosh and he'll go flat. Okay, so let's go to the snowman, and the snowman has a lot of assets here, so we're gonna have to select them all to get this to work. So first we need our well, how am I going to do this? Okay, so I need to select just the snowman. So let's see if we can get that done. Nope. We'll select the snowman. Okay. If I hold down Control, there you go. Okay. Nope. Okay, hold down Shift, and then you can select all the parts of the snowman will be selected. And I should be able to, let's see, where's our rocket? So hits him at 80. I don't want it to do slowly. I want it right at 80. Then he does like a squish. So that means we need to set our keyframe right there. Now he's going to have like a second or two to go flat with the rocket, and then we'll worry about what we're going to do with the rocket. Okay, so after that, I'm actually going to go to scale, and I should be able to, that's our size here. There you go. Make it flat. Let's see if that's flat to the ground. Yeah, I think that works pretty good. Okay, so let's do our keyframe, and then let's see what that looks like. Squirt, squoosh. There you go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then because the rocket hits him here, and he goes flat, I think 85. The rocket should just, you know. What should the rocket do? Just fall apart, I guess. Go into the ground. So it hits him. Maybe it should just fall over. Squish. And then it falls over. Okay. So I need to select the rocket again. And I need to make a keyframe. We want the rocket to do. So it comes, it squishes him. He squishes. And I guess 85, that means the rocket needs to do something. So we'll set a keyframe there. Because in our next frame, we're going to have it do something. Oh, what did I do? Hold on, what did I do? Okay, why did it do that? Huh, okay. All right, so maybe just have it fall over. I think that might be funny. All right, so if I get this, get that. And then I get the move. Nope. Let's see. Go down and fall over. So then it's on the ground. There you go. Or in the snow. All right, on. Well, shoot, I didn't. So I didn't set that right. Okay, so it plops him, and then it does a keyframe, and then by the time, let's see, by the time 90 comes around, that's where we want it to. Whoop, have moved, rotated, and be laying on the ground. There you go. Maybe move it further, a little bit over. All right, so now let's try that. So flop, he squishes, and then the rocket falls over. There you go. All right, so let's see it all together now. All together now. And see our camera view. So, here comes the car, here comes the rocket. Ah, smush, bleh. Smoosh, bleh. And smoosh, bleh. Okay, so that actually works pretty good. Okay. Smoosh, bleh. Smoosh, bleh. Trying to think about how to get the car to look a little bit straighter when it's driving. I guess that mostly would be done with the rotation. So you start your car off, because it still looks like it's curving to me. I like it. Smoosh. Meh. Alright, I think I might mess with the car just a bit, because I still feel like the car is curving. I don't really want it to curve. I want it to go straight. So when it hits the 40 here, so I have it pointed at the snowman, but maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should have it pointed here, because that's actually where the car's going. So I'm actually going to delete that one, and I'm going to choose the car. Oh, did I delete the wrong thing? I might have. So let's go back and choose the car. I deleted the rocket animation. Okay, so make sure I choose the car and then delete the animation there for the wait, did that mess up the rocket? Let's see. Okay, good, it didn't. So that's great. So when I click on this, then that has, so everything has its own timeline. That's great. Okay, so I zoom in. I go to, oh no, it reset the everything. Okay, so I'm going to do undo. All right, and then we got the car, and I've already undone that. So there we go. Okay. And the rocket animation is still right. Yeah. So the car doesn't need to be pointing at the snowman because that's not really where he's going. And we need to delete that. All right, and then we can rotate the car okay, so it's driving, it's headed towards the snowman. So we have our car here at the beginning. Okay, so we have our car at the beginning here. And right now its animation is this, driving through the trees. Okay, and our snowman's getting smushed. Okay, okay, that's hilarious. Okay, so if we go here and we make an animation, so we make sure he's going straight this way, and then make an animation, maybe a second or two of the car turning and then headed that way, I think that might do better. Okay, so it may look like he's, you know, actually moving in the proper direction here. Okay, so if I do the car right about 40, where the car is, it needs to move to here instead and rotate. The one issue we have is that the actual rotation is not at the middle of the car. I wonder how we can do that. It's like the rotation point needs to be in the middle. And not on top, like in the front. So I guess that would be when you created the object or whatever. Okay, so if we actually get it to drive here, it's still going to look a little sloshy, I think, and that's probably because of where the point is that I can rotate and everything. So the animation it's going to add will make it look like it's kind of sloshing around a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we have our start, our car driving straight, and then when it hits 40, driving straight to there, and then maybe make a little animation of it turning. So maybe about, let's see, so we have like one, maybe have it turn. And then that should look a little better. Okay, let's see. So driving, turn, oh, it like looped. Loop. That might be too quick. Okay. Yeah. So it's like we've hit a glitch in the matrix. We've hit a glitch in the matrix. Okay, so that was at, where is that one at? Can I just jump to that? Okay. Let's see, what does that do? Okay, so boom, boom. Oh, I did it 41, yeah, so that is too much. All right, so we're going to delete that one. All right, and then if we go to, let's say, 45, because right now it's going from here, and it does like a curve thing. So if we do 45, and then we tell it to rotate, and we move our car to the left a little bit. Would that look okay? Let's see. So it goes that way, hits there, and then it turns. There you go. That looks better already. And then, all right, so that looks better already. Okay, so let's try that. There you go. There you go. So it actually does turn a little bit now. It's not perfect, but I think that looks a little bit better. I love the squishing of the, let's see if I can turn that there. The squishing of the snowman is perfect. Squish. I'm actually going to save this. Snowman bonk. How about that? All right, so let's go ahead to our next part. I think they actually give us another challenge here. So we got it to the rocket hidden behind the hut can now get to the launch, fly across the scene, and squash the snowman. You could download another scene to animate. Dr. and me, yay! Glad you like that one. That's funny. All right, so let's see what our next challenge is. So basically it says it has another scene that we can download and animate another group here. And I want to see what they suggest doing. Okay, so that was the end of the tutorial there. So let's go ahead and let's download this one and give it a minute. Oh, okay. So we have a little rabbit in this one, and it has a little bit more shading going on than our previous snowman one, and it has a much bigger rocket. Okay. So basically this has a lot more houses in it and stuff. Let's see. So that's our camera view, I guess. And this is like this is interesting. That's like the winter, and this is almost like the summertime. And we have a rabbit now. I'm not sure why we have a rabbit. But there we go. And we have a rocket that can be launched off too. All right. So we have our car. So we could animate our car going this way. I'm not sure how we can get the rabbit to look like it's kind of jumping a little bit. But I think that would be useful because he's got a little bit, maybe we can wiggle its ears a little bit with the time we have left here. I think that would be neat. Make our little rabbit wiggle its ears by using our keyframes. Okay. All right, so basically the rabbit is made up of, oh, they have it hooked as one shape right now. But if I go over here and I click the drop down, and I might have to drag this down here. Oh, is it just one thing? I can't break it apart? Oh, no. Okay, so the rabbit apparently is all connected together. But maybe we can make our trees dance a little bit instead. So I can't actually animate the rabbit feet. Huh. I bet there's a way to do that. I'm trying to think. We can make him slide around because at least he's one big rabbit. Maybe he's going to go in the rocket. How about that? I think that would be funny. So Mr. Rabbit will make the rabbit go into the rocket and then he'll shoot off into outer space. How about that? Okay, so we've got our Mr. Rabbit here. How many frames we have? 250 right now. Let's do our example where it was only at 100. Okay. And then we actually have our rabbit. We'll set our keyframe. We need to choose the location, rotation, and scale. All right. We'll add our keyframe. So basically, we're going to make our rabbit hop, 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 jump into our rocket, and then we'll shoot our rocket up into the sky. How about that? All right, so we have our rabbit here starting out, and let's see what we can make him do. We can make him kind of slide over there because all we got to do is move him and stuff. Maybe we can give him a little bit of a bounce, kind of like the snowman when it jumps a little bit. I think that would be kind of neat. So let's see. So how many bounces do we need to get him into the rocket? 1, 2, and then one big one to jump into the rocket. Okay. And then we'll probably, once he's inside, we'll animate him into the ground so no one will see him. And then we'll shoot our rocket up into the sky. Okay. So let's go ahead and we need to, well, first I actually need to make sure make sure that the rabbit is facing the rocket. Let me turn here so I can get more of him going to the path here. So let me actually delete that keyframe. And then we're going to get our rabbit and we're going to rotate it. So it looks like he's headed towards the rocket. Make my life a little easier by kind of turning it so it looks like he's headed there too from our angle. Okay, now let's make a keyframe. All right, and then let's see. So our keyframe is here. Main thing is that he's going to be going into the rocket, let's say about 80 or so. I think that would be good. So by the time 80 happens, we want him to actually be inside the rocket. And let's see if you can get him hidden inside the rocket. Let's see. Make sure he's hidden from all angles. Oh, I don't see him. Okay. Keyframe. And then we'll do our switch, which means we'll have the rocket disappear into the floor. So we won't see the rabbit anymore yeah, so he gets there by 80. And let's see, by 85 he should be disappeared into the floor. And then let me see, maybe we need to have it less time. So boing, boing, boing. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then he's basically in the rocket. And then he sits there and our rocket takes off and shoots up. Okay, so let's do that. So let's have our rabbit. So we'll go ahead and we'll delete this keyframe here. And then we'll go to 60. And then have him inside the rocket. Make sure you can't see him anywhere. Oh, looks like he's inside. Do a keyframe. All right, and then at 65, we'll have the rabbit disappear into the floor. Keyframe. All right, let's see how that works. So boing, 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 and then he disappears, and then our rocket will shoot up into the space. Into the space. All right, so our first boing should be 1. Boing, boing, boing. All right, so 10, he should be up in the air. And let's see, can we do a little bit of a thing where he's kind of stretching? Kind of like our snowman, make him stretch and then bounce up, stretch and then bounce up. So we actually want him to be on 10. It's Roger Rabbit. That's great. Absolutely. It's Rocket Rabbit. Okay, so okay. All right, so I need him to be here. So we need to do a keyframe. So he will be in that position by then. And then at 40, I need him to be, let's see. That might be a little too fast. Let's see. Because then the big leap will be into the rocket. So maybe we need to move him back a little bit. Okay. So keyframe there. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so boing, he lands, boing, he lands, boing, right into the rocket. Okay, and then he disappears. All right, so yeah, let's do the boing part. So we see our rabbit, and 5 seconds, 5 frames in, he'll kind of go squoosh and then fly up to up in the air. But then I need him to okay, let's just do it. Let's do it as him just hopping to begin with. Okay, so let's go ahead and move him up. I think there looks pretty good. We'll do a keyframe, and then 30. We'll do a keyframe, and then at 50, it'll do a big jump into the rocket. Okay. And then he'll land. Okay, so here we go. Boing, boing, boing. And then he disappears and our rocket takes off. Okay. I think that works pretty good. All right, now because we pre-made the keyframes, it should be that he goes back to normal after. So if I do, does he need to do the boing and then take off? I guess so. So I'll go ahead and I guess scaling down here. So see the rabbit for a second, and then he squishes down. Because we actually have him jumping up in the air already. Hold on. So, boing, boing, hop into the rocket, and then he hides. So he's already up in the air here. Let's see. So boing, 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 and then our rocket takes off. Okay, what about this one before he jumps into the actual rocket? We'll have him do the squish thing then. I think that would be funnier because he like jumps, squish, and then the big jump into there. Okay, so let's see if we can do that. So let's scale it down. So right about there. And then, okay, so I have to delete that keyframe and then re-add it. And then let's see what it does. So squish, and then he should re-be. He should be his normal size then. So jump, jump, squish. Jump, jump, squish. I think that works fairly well. So there you go, up, and then we'll do this one too. So we'll do, we'll delete that, squish him down a little bit, and then make a keyframe, and then let's see what that looks like. Boing, boing, boing. Okay. Boing, boing, boing. Let's see what our camera sees. That's great. Boing, boing, boing. And because we have him hidden, what'll happen is when we do our other frames here in the rocket shooting up, let me see. I don't know if I can come up with like a little bit of a rumble with our rocket here. But I'm actually going ahead and save as, let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and get to here so that the rabbit's jumped in, and then so we see the rabbit's in there. The rabbit's already hidden. So let's go ahead and let's choose our rocket and make a keyframe. All right. And what do we want? Rocket's just going to take off. That's all it's going to do. And I want to see if I can come up with like a little bit of a rumble or something, like a little shakiness for it. Maybe we make it squish and then shoot up, and that would surprise everybody. How about that? I think that would do good. All right, so at 100, we basically want it to be completely off camera at this point, which is not gonna take forever to do that. So we basically want to, let's see, move it to about here, because that will be off camera. Okay, so if I make that into a keyframe and see what that all looks like together so far. Boing, boing, boing. There it goes. And there goes the rabbit. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. So he's a space rabbit. He's on a mission. He's a space rabbit. Now he has his own theme song. We're all ready for it. Okay, so we weren't expecting it, but before it shoots up, it's going to do a classic thing where it's going to squish down and then shoot up. Okay? So when is it actually out of frame? Oh, it's out of frame at 90. Okay. So we have to do our animation here. Let's see. Right about, let's see. So our rabbit jumps in. Our rabbit jumps in right, and he's disappeared at 60. So we need it to do the squishy thing here. Okay, so keyframe, and then here to here. So if I squish it here, if I squish it here, and we'll make it wider too. See what that looks like. And he jumps in. The rockets get squished. Oh, I didn't make a keyframe. Okay, so I have to, because it's taken off at 70. So we literally have just a second. So squish, make it wider, make a keyframe, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, so it squishes and then it takes off. That's great. All right, so let's look at that. So here we go. Boing, boing. That's great. All right, so we've taken something that I'm sure that there's a way to break up the rabbit to individual parts so that you could actually animate it, you know, its ears and everything. But at least we have that. We can stretch, we can move things around, and then it actually shoots off to the moon. Okay, I do want to know how exactly we can save it, because I'm trying to think, because of the export, that's the file, that's not rendering though. So our renderer, render audio, wow, okay. View animation. Let's see. Of course, we probably need to move the camera. I think that's a good idea. A little bit closer. So let's do that. So, of course, we do this in the other class too. All you need to do is that you zoom out a little bit and you select your camera, okay? And then you go to your move tool, all right? And kind of click back and forth between this and here. So our move, and then click here. Now, I know this is, I'm going to go out on a limb here and kind of play around with the camera here, because I feel like we can get movement in the camera by maybe doing the same thing, which I'm not sure, but we will try real quick. So I believe, so we have our rabbit. And if our animation is as easy to do with this, then it also means it should be pretty easy to do with our camera as well. So can I do keyframes with the camera? Okay. And then let's pick where we want the camera to be. So as he's jumping in there, it's 60. What if we basically move the camera over to here? And then set that as a keyframe. Would that do it? Yes, it does, I believe. So let's see the camera view. Let's hit play. There we go. So now, so the same way we do our animation is the same way that we move our camera around as well. Boing, boing. There we go. And there goes our rocket. Boing. Okay, now let's look at our render, which it may take it a minute to do it. Okay. And let me see. So it's actually all right, so down here you'll see it rendering the frames, okay? And it's going through our timeline. All right, so we got to give it time. And there he goes. Trying to see something. Let me see. Well, I was looking at the preview here. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong thing. This is just its own little section. Okay, so we can save it as images. Let me see. So we have our timeline, animation, have our textures mode. Let's see. Drivers, graphics, text header, outliner. Timeline, playback, All right. So we have covered a lot, haven't we? Let's look at our camera view again. And we liked our render, didn't we? Boing, boing, boing. Choo! There he goes. Okay, we have covered a lot today. Now, the big things is, I actually recommend trying out the tutorials on the Blender site. And I'll kind of point those out again. So we'll say bye-bye to our bunny for now. We did our animation. We've saved our animation. We rendered it as well. So I hope you enjoyed this project. So let's go ahead and let's look at our training again. Like I said, the big thing here is that it is a recommendation to try to do the Blender Fundamentals course on here. Has first steps, introduction, modeling, shading, all kinds of stuff. Of course, it goes a lot more into, our part here. Here's talking about our keyframes, our timelines, all that kind of good stuff. So those are all video tutorials as well. So you kind of follow along with that, and then go into the primitive shapes one. But definitely recommend doing the fundamentals one first, okay? So the primitive shapes, it has videos on there, YouTube. Basically, it starts out with the square and keep adding little pieces, and you can actually make the cute little owl situation on there. The owl on there. So there you go right there. So I encourage you to keep playing around with this. We'll have some future courses and stuff with Blender as well in the coming year and everything. This, of course, is my last class for 2020. Woo! I'll see you in 2021. We'll be posting some new classes up in just check the schedule for January and everything. We'll probably be doing a cutting the cord class again because folks will be getting new devices and stuff, and also new cameras, new cell phones and stuff. We'll be doing gadget help and all that in January as well. So just keep an eye out for that. And any other final questions or anything? Well, thank you for joining me today. A little bit of side note, our libraries are open. Our library schedules are actually changing, getting more hours of availability, so definitely check the website, gchrl.org, for details. Of course, you can call the library Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Of course, curbside holds pickup is available. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube video. And if you like these videos, please hit a like as well. Hey, Dr. Emmy, I'm so glad too that you enjoy class. That's wonderful. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to you as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I know that this year's been kind of interesting. I know we did our classes online, trying to keep everybody safe and still do our classes in store and stuff like that. So look forward to seeing you in person, or look forward to seeing you virtually like this in the coming year. So have a great day. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year, happy 2021, all that kind of good stuff. See you next time. Stay safe. Bye-bye.